My fiancé came to me one evening and said, "My parents don't think you're the right match for me. They believe I could find someone more suitable." I looked at her for a moment and answered, "Then go ahead and find him." That same night, while she was asleep, I quietly transferred the apartment lease into her name alone, removed her from my credit card account, packed what I needed, and left the place we'd shared. Exactly 7 days later, her entire family, mother, father, and even her younger brother, showed up at my new temporary address, practically on their knees, pleading with me to take her back, that there's something strange about having your heart shattered. Instead of rage or tears, a cold, razor-sharp calmness settles over you, like the world suddenly runs in slow motion and every decision feels perfectly obvious. That I had been with Natalie for 3 full years. We met shortly after graduation at a mutual friend's apartment warming party. She was sharp, stunning, driven. Everything I thought I'd ever want in a partner. After 12 months, we moved in together. After 24 months, I proposed. And we were deep into wedding planning when the ground disappeared beneath me. That in hindsight, the red flags were glaring. Natalie's parents, Richard and Caroline, had never truly warmed to me. They belonged to that old money country club crowd, private academies, summer houses on Long Island, the works. I grew up in a modest neighborhood outside Cleveland, paid my own way through a public university with scholarships, loans, and night shifts, and was steadily climbing at a respected but hardly elite architecture practice. Every time we dined with them, the interrogation was subtle but relentless. Was my firm involved in any landmark projects? What was my 5-year plan? Did I ever intend to aim higher? Caroline loved dropping casual memories about Natalie's college boyfriend who was now killing it at a hedge fund in Manhattan. Richard would mention friends' sons who were surgeons or C-suite executives by 35. I always laughed it off. Difficult in-laws are normal, I told myself. Besides, Natalie would squeeze my knee under the table and give me that conspiratorial eye roll when her parents looked away. I genuinely believed we were a team. The day everything collapsed started like any other Thursday in spring. I walked in exhausted after a marathon client presentation. Natalie was perched at the kitchen counter, staring at her closed laptop, unusually quiet. "Hey babe," I said, tossing my keys into the little ceramic dish by the door. "Rough day." She didn't answer immediately. That silence was the first warning bell. Natalie always had something to say. Gossip from the office, a funny reel, wedding venue drama. Finally she spoke, still not meeting my eyes. "I had lunch with Mom and Dad today." "Cool. How are they?" I asked, pulling a beer from the fridge. "They're worried about the wedding. About us." I lowered the bottle. "Worried how?" She took a breath. "They're not convinced you're the best long-term choice for me." I waited. She kept going. "They pointed out differences we maybe glossed over, like earning potential, lifestyle, the kind of future I'm used to. They feel your career plateaued early, that you're satisfied staying where you are." "We've never hidden where I come from," I said, surprised at how level my voice stayed. "None of that seemed to matter to you before." It didn't. But when they laid it out, kids, schools, vacations, security, I started wondering if they were right. "So what exactly are you telling me, Nat?" She twisted the diamond I'd saved 3 months to buy her, the one her mother had called sweet but modest. "My parents don't approve of you," she said at last. "They think I can and should do better." The air left the room. 3 years, 1 proposal, 1,000 whispered forevers, and it boiled down to Mommy and Daddy's stamp of approval. I asked quietly, "And you? What do you think?" She looked at the floor. "I think maybe they have a point. In films, the guy begs, reminds her of every good memory, swears he'll become whatever version she needs. Instead, an arctic stillness flooded my chest. "Then you absolutely should," I replied, her head snapped up. "Should what?" Do better. Find the guy they want for you. She blinked, clearly expecting a fight. Ryan, I'm not breaking up with you. I'm just processing doubts. Doubts about whether I measure up because your parents said so. It's more layered than that. It really isn't. I walked past her to the bedroom. She called after me, confused, but I closed the door, took the longest shower of my life, and made up my mind. When I came out, she was already in bed, pretending to scroll so we wouldn't have to talk. Can we finish this tomorrow? She mumbled. I'm exhausted. Of course, I said gently, and slid in beside her. I waited until her breathing evened out around midnight. Then I moved like a ghost. I'd kept an overnight bag half-packed in the closet for site visits. Now it became my escape kit. I opened the management portal for our building. The lease was solely in my name because my credit score was higher when we signed, and submitted the request to remove myself and transfer full tenancy to Natalie. I knew it would need signatures and landlord approval, but the request itself would send an unmistakable message. Next, I logged into my banking app, removed her as an authorized user on my Platinum card, the one we used for groceries and date nights, and ordered a replacement for myself. I made a checklist of every utility still under my name, electric, Wi-Fi, Netflix, all of it, and decided I'd give her 30 days grace before cutting anything off. I wrote a short, polite note explaining what I'd done, that she had a month to decide whether to keep the apartment or move, and that I'd cover bills until then so she wasn't left in the dark, literally or figuratively. I left the apartment key on top of the note, shouldered my bag, and walked out at 2 a.m. I'd already texted my best friend Mark while Natalie showered earlier. He told me to come straight over. He answered the door half asleep in boxers, took one look at my face, and simply said, "Couch is yours, man. As long as you need." We cracked open beers at 2:30 a.m. while I laid it all out. Mark never once suggested I hear her out. He just raised his bottle and said, "Her loss, bro." By morning, my phone was a war zone. Missed calls, frantic texts, voicemails climbing in pitch. "Where are you? Call me now. I woke up and you were gone? This is insane. The landlord just emailed about a lease transfer. What the hell, Ryan? You canceled my card? How am I supposed to buy food?" That last one almost made me laugh. Natalie had always insisted on financial independence, which translated to living off her assistant editor's salary while her parents quietly paid her car note, cleared her remaining college loans, and kept a fat trust cushion she pretended didn't exist. Pride had kept her from ever touching it. Until now, apparently. I ignored every message. Took a couple of personal days from work, found a one-bedroom across the city that was actually nicer than our old place, and more expensive, but recent bonuses covered it, and signed the lease. For the next week, I rebuilt brick by brick. New address updates, new dishes and sheets delivered to Mark's, a moving crew scheduled for a weekday when I knew she'd be at the office. Mark volunteered to supervise so nothing of hers got touched. Her texts morphed from fury to bargaining. "I didn't mean any of it. I was stressed about the wedding. My parents were out of line. I see that now." On day 5, I finally replied with one message. "Movers come Tuesday between 10 to 3. Utilities paid through May 31st. Please let me know if that time works or suggest another when you won't be home." Her answer came in seconds. "Please don't do this. I love you. This is fixable." I left her on read. Day 6, my phone rang with Richard's name. I almost let it go to voicemail, but morbid curiosity won. "Ryan," he started, sounding nothing like his usual commanding self. "We need to talk, son. I'm not your son, Richard, and we have nothing to discuss. Please, Natalie is falling apart. Meet us tomorrow? Just coffee." Against every instinct, I agreed. I walked into the cafe expecting Richard and maybe Caroline. Instead, the whole clan was there. Both parents, Natalie, even her little brother. An intervention. I stayed standing. What is this? Please sit, Caroline said, her perfect makeup unable to hide the sleepless circles under her eyes. I sat, arms crossed, as far from Natalie as the table allowed. She looked like she hadn't washed her hair in days. Richard cleared his throat. I owe you an apology. A big one. I was wrong to speak to Natalie the way I did about you. I raised an eyebrow. Go on. Caroline jumped in, voice trembling. She's been inconsolable. We've never seen her like this. She barely eats, barely sleeps. Richard again. And, well, we learned some things this week. Turns out Natalie never exactly bragged about your recent projects. Her brother, 19, architecture obsessed, leaned forward excitedly. Dude, I Googled you. Westbrook Tower? Riverside Promenade? You're the lead designer? That's insane. I shrugged. I've been busy. Caroline looked mortified. Why didn't you ever tell us? Because my worth shouldn't depend on whether I impressed you too. Richard actually flushed. We misjudged you. Badly. And we put ideas in Natalie's head that never should have been there. Ideas she was happy to entertain. I corrected. Natalie finally spoke, voice raw. I was an idiot. I let them make me doubt the best thing in my life. I've hated myself every single day since you left. Richard added softly, we're here to ask. Beg, really? If you'd consider giving her another chance. I looked around the table at these people who had sized me up and found me lacking, now scrambling because their princess was unhappy and, conveniently, I wasn't as average as they'd assumed. So the apology tour started only after Google told you I might not stay middle class forever? Richard at least had the decency to wince. I'd be lying if I said learning about your success didn't adjust our perspective. But seeing what losing you has done to my daughter, that's the real reason we're here. Natalie reached for my hand. I pulled back. I was scared, she whispered. Wedding pressure, cold feet, stupid pride. None of it excuses what I said. I love you, Ryan. The real you, not some resume. But when they said I wasn't enough, you nodded along. I was wrong. You didn't fight for me. Not even a little. And the second you realized rent was due, and your card declined, suddenly you saw clearly. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Caroline tried. Everyone deserves forgiveness for one mistake. The mistake was showing me exactly how conditional your love was. I'm done. I stood. Natalie stood too, tears streaming. I'll move wherever you are. I'll pay half of everything. I'll never speak to them again if that's what you want. Her parents exchanged a horrified glance at that last part, which confirmed everything. I looked her in the eye. I don't want someone who has to be taught I'm enough. I want someone who already knows it and would tell the whole world to go to hell before letting them say otherwise. I walked out. She called my name until the door closed behind me. That was 6 months ago. She still texts sometimes. Long paragraphs I don't open. Her parents sent a $400 bottle of single malt with a handwritten apology. I regifted it to Mark. The Riverside project I poured my soul into opened last month to great reviews. The firm made me junior partner and I bought a small condo in the building I helped design. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I was too absolute, too quick to burn the bridge. Then I remember how fast she folded the moment someone she respected told her I wasn't enough. Some wounds don't scab over. They just teach you what you'll never accept again, that I'm still looking for the person who will choose me. Loudly, fiercely, without needing a week of sleeping on a couch without a credit card to figure it out. Until then, I'm good. Actually, better than good. I'm free.